When a woman cheats, she doesn't confess. She transforms. Her eyes no longer hold the same warmth. Her touch feels distant, and her presence starts to fade like smoke from a dying fire. You can sense it long before you find the proof, because betrayal has a frequency your soul can detect even when your mind denies it. Most men ignore the signs, blinded by love or fear of the truth. But every woman who cheats leaves a trail. Small changes in her behavior, her tone, her timing. These are not coincidences, they are cracks in her mask. If you learn to read them, you won't need to catch her. You'll simply know. And once you know, you'll realize that the most dangerous thing a man can lose isn't his woman, it's his awareness. Number 1. She becomes secretive and guards her phone, like it's her soul. A woman's descent into betrayal rarely begins with touch. It begins with silence. The moment she starts cheating, her world becomes divided into two. The world you still live in, and the one she hides behind a glowing screen. Her phone, once a simple object, suddenly turns sacred. It's no longer a tool. It's a fortress. She carries it everywhere. To the bathroom, to the kitchen, to the shower. It's always face down, always locked. You notice how her laughter now ends in a whisper. She turns the screen away when you walk in. She used to share everything. Now she shares nothing. She changes passwords, like changing moods. Notifications are silenced, chats deleted, messages vanish before you can even ask. She says she's just being private. But understand this. Privacy is when you protect your space. Secrecy is when you protect your lies. Her phone becomes a weapon, not against you, but against her guilt. Every vibration reminds her that her secret world is still alive, while yours is slowly dying. She hides it, not because she fears your curiosity, but because she fears your discovery. And when you question her, she plays the oldest trick in the book. She turns the guilt back on you. "Why don't you trust me?" she says, pretending to be hurt. But that's manipulation. It's not pain. It's performance. A loyal woman doesn't need to make you feel guilty for asking questions. Only a liar does. Here's the cold truth. When a woman guards her phone more fiercely than your relationship, she's already emotionally gone. You don't need to check her messages. Her behavior is the message. When she starts protecting her phone like it holds her soul, that's because, in a way, it does. The version of her that's cheating lives there. Most men ignore this stage, thinking it's harmless, thinking she's just distant. But in reality, the first betrayal isn't in her body. It's in her behavior. When her phone becomes untouchable, her loyalty already has. Don't fall for the illusion of trust when transparency has disappeared. Real trust is built on openness. When a woman has nothing to hide, she doesn't care who sees her screen. But when she's cheating, she builds digital walls and guards them with emotional daggers. The phone doesn't change people. It only reveals who they've become. And when she starts protecting that device like her heartbeat, it's because her truth lives inside it, and you're not part of that truth anymore. Number 2, her routine changes, and her excuses multiply. Cheating doesn't start with a kiss. It starts with a shift. A subtle rearrangement of time, priorities, and excuses. When a woman begins seeing another man, her schedule becomes her greatest weapon of deception. She rewrites her calendar not for productivity, but for secrecy. Suddenly, her work meetings extend into late evenings. She starts having girls' nights out you've never heard of before. Gym sessions become longer, commutes somehow take more time, and errands turn into unexplained disappearances. The woman who once texted you when she got home now forgets. She's not busy. She's building distance. Listen closely. Time is the one thing a cheater cannot fake. Love always makes people find time. Betrayal always makes them run out of it. You'll hear phrases like, "Don't be paranoid," or "I just need space." But what she really means is, "I need space away from you to be with someone else." Every liar has a pattern. When a woman cheats, her day-to-day life begins to lose consistency. The routines that once revolved around the relationship slowly start revolving around her own secret gratification. You used to know where she was, now you don't. You used to feel her energy, now it's missing. You used to be her reason for rushing home. Now you're just another obligation on her list. And she'll disguise it masterfully. Women are experts at weaving logic into lies. She'll make every absence sound justified. "Work's been crazy lately. My friend really needs me. I just want to focus on myself." Sounds harmless, doesn't it? But beneath those phrases lies emotional distance wrapped in politeness. Here's the brutal truth. When her schedule no longer includes you, it's because her emotions no longer orbit you. People make time for what excites them. If she's constantly unavailable, unresponsive, or vague about her plans, she's already somewhere else, both physically and emotionally. You'll notice small things. She becomes irritated when you ask where she's been. She provides too much detail, or none at all. She says she's tired, but her eyes glow with a secret thrill. That's the paradox of infidelity. Exhaustion on the surface, adrenaline underneath. A loyal woman doesn't need to invent a new life. She's too busy living the one she loves. But when deceit enters her veins, her days become a theater, and every excuse is a line from her script. Men often ignore this stage, convincing themselves it's just a phase. It's not. It's the beginning of replacement. When her time stops belonging to you, so does her heart. Number 3, her warmth fades. Emotionally and physically, cheating is not just physical. It's emotional abandonment disguised as distance. Before a woman's body betrays you, her heart already has. You feel it not in what she says, but in what she no longer says. Her words become colder, her tone sharper. The warmth that once made her eyes light up for you now flickers like a dying flame. She used to look at you with affection. Now she looks through you, as if you're invisible. You used to be the center of her world. Now you're just background noise in her new one. The woman who once couldn't stop touching you suddenly avoids your hands. Hugs turn brief, kisses turn mechanical, and intimacy becomes a scheduled chore. Something she does out of obligation, not desire. When a woman loves you, her presence is heavy. You feel her everywhere, in her voice, her scent, her attention. But when she begins to cheat, her presence becomes hollow. She's there, but not there. You can touch her, but you can't reach her. She's next to you in bed, scrolling her phone, smiling at someone who isn't you. This is how emotional death looks. She's not angry anymore, not passionate, not jealous. She's just indifferent. And indifference is worse than hate. Hate still requires energy. Indifference means she no longer cares enough to fight. She starts blaming stress, fatigue, work, or mood swings. But what she's really saying is, "My heart belongs somewhere else." Men often misread this silence as peace. They think things have calmed down. But in truth, she's emotionally checked out. And once a woman disconnects emotionally, the rest of her will follow. You see, emotional withdrawal is a strategy. It's how she prepares her exit. She starts caring less so she can leave without guilt. She stops fighting, stops explaining, stops trying. because in her mind, she's already gone. That's why the most dangerous stage isn't when she's angry. It's when she's calm. Calm women are done women. And here's the harsh truth. When she stops seeking your approval, your touch, your presence, it's not because she's becoming independent. It's because she's getting that validation elsewhere. A woman in love wants to be close. A woman in betrayal wants to escape. You don't lose her the day she sleeps with someone else. You lose her the day she stops looking at you like you matter. By the time her body leaves, her soul has already packed up and gone. Number 4, her appearance transforms. Beauty with a hidden agenda. When a woman begins to cheat, her transformation doesn't start in her heart. It starts in her mirror. She looks at herself differently. She dresses differently. She moves differently. It's not about you anymore. It's about how someone else sees her. She suddenly cares about her hair, her nails, her perfume. She changes her wardrobe, wears new colors, buys new lingerie. She tells you she's just doing it for herself, but that's the lie every guilty woman tells to calm her conscience. Understand this. When a woman starts dressing up without reason, there's always a reason. And it's never random. She's not doing it for confidence. She's doing it for attention. There was a time when her effort to look good was for you. Now it's a message sent to someone else. You see, attraction is energy. A woman in love directs that energy toward her man. But when she starts to drift away, that energy shifts. She's feeding it into her fantasy, preparing herself for the validation of another man's gaze. You'll notice subtle but powerful changes. She wears perfume even when she's just running errands. She spends extra time choosing outfits. She changes her hairstyle, starts working out, maybe even changes her makeup routine. But strangely, none of this effort seems aimed at you. She's becoming beautiful, but not for you. And when you compliment her, she shrugs it off. She's no longer seeking your approval because she's chasing someone else's. That's the cruel irony. The more beautiful she becomes, the more distant she feels. Physical transformation is emotional camouflage. It's how she convinces herself that she's evolving, not betraying, that she's finding herself, not losing her integrity. But behind every new dress, every subtle scent, every touch of lipstick, there's an invisible whisper. I hope he notices me. Women don't change their appearance for no reason. Every new look has a story. Every sudden glow has a source. When her beauty becomes performative, it means she's performing, not for the mirror, but for the man she's hiding. And here's the truth most men ignore. A woman who's emotionally invested in you will dress comfortably in your presence because she feels safe. But a woman who's emotionally drifting will always be in presentation mode because she's living for someone's attention. She's no longer trying to attract you. She's rehearsing for someone else's desire. And by the time you realize it, she's already dressed for a world where you no longer exist. Number 5, she becomes defensive and turns the blame on you. When a woman cheats, her guilt doesn't make her honest. It makes her clever. She doesn't confess. She deflects. And when you begin to question the inconsistencies in her words, she will not explain them. She will attack you instead. The first sign of a guilty woman is defensiveness without accusation. You don't even have to accuse her. A simple question like, "Where were you?" makes her eyes narrow and her tone sharpen. She'll twist your curiosity into control, your observation into obsession. Suddenly, you become the problem. This is how emotional manipulation works. She shifts the spotlight of suspicion away from herself and onto you. When you ask questions, she plays the victim. When you stay silent, she accuses you of being distant. No matter what you do, the conversation always ends with you feeling wrong and her walking away clean. She uses guilt as her shield. "You don't trust me anymore," she'll say, her voice trembling, just enough to sound sincere. But remember this: guilt creates actors, not truth-tellers. The more emotional her defense, the deeper the lie she's protecting. And here's the brutal truth: a woman who has nothing to hide will calmly explain. A woman who's hiding something will explode. Because anger is easier to fake than innocence. She knows that men fear emotional chaos, so she creates it. The louder she gets, the quicker you back down. You'll find yourself apologizing for even asking the question, and that's how she wins. Every manipulative woman uses the same strategy: create emotional noise, shift the blame, end the conversation before the truth can surface. She may even gaslight you, make you doubt your memory, your perception, your sanity. You're imagining things. You're paranoid. You always twist my words. But deep down, your instincts know, and instincts are rarely wrong. Understand this: when her tone turns hostile the moment you seek clarity, it's not because you've crossed a line. It's because you've gotten too close to the truth. She's not angry because you doubt her. She's angry because you're right to. And that anger isn't passion, it's panic. The fear of being exposed transforms into aggression. A faithful woman fights for the relationship. A guilty woman fights against the truth. So the next time she flips the blame, don't defend yourself. Observe her. Because the one who rushes to deny without proof is usually the one with everything to hide. Number 6. Your gut knows, even when her words lie. There's one thing every man must understand. The body may lie, the mouth may deceive, but energy never does. When a woman cheats, her words might sound the same, her tone might still be soft, but the energy between you, that invisible current, is broken. You feel it, and you're not crazy for feeling it. Men are often taught to silence their instincts. Society calls it paranoia, insecurity, or jealousy. But a man's intuition isn't weakness. It's ancient intelligence. It's the survival mechanism that has kept men alive for centuries. The one that senses danger before logic can explain it. When your gut tells you something is off, it's because your subconscious has already picked up on 1,000 small details. The change in her tone, the shift in her eye contact, the pause before she answers simple questions. You don't have proof yet, but your spirit already knows. Cheating doesn't just change her behavior, it alters the frequency she emits. Her laughter feels forced, her affection feels scripted, and her presence, the warmth you once felt, turns hollow. She's acting normal, but nothing feels normal. That's the paradox of betrayal. It hides in plain sight, but the heart can still detect it. You can't measure it, you can't record it, but you can feel it in your bones. And the more you ignore it, the more it eats at you, because your intuition isn't accusing her. It's protecting you. Every man who's been betrayed remembers that feeling. The quiet heaviness, the unexplainable distance, the gut tightening for no reason. You can't pinpoint the evidence, yet you know. Deep down, you always knew. And that's the cruel irony. Your mind doubts what your soul already understands. You rationalize. You justify, you make excuses for her behavior because you love her. But love without awareness turns a man blind. Listen closely. Her words can lie, but her energy never will. If her presence starts feeling foreign, If her warmth turns cold, if your gut whispers that something is wrong, trust it. You are not paranoid. You are perceptive. Men lose their power the moment they ignore their instincts, because when you stop trusting yourself, you become easy to deceive. A strong man doesn't need proof to see the truth. He reads it in silence, in tone, in vibration. Your gut is the alarm your heart built for betrayal, and when it rings, it's not warning you, it's waking you up. In the end, truth doesn't scream. It whispers. It lives in the silence between words, in the eyes that no longer shine, in the warmth that quietly fades. Most men wait for proof before they act, but by the time you have evidence, the damage is already done. Learn to trust your intuition, your logic, your energy. Never chase clarity from someone who benefits from your confusion. Never beg loyalty from someone who betrayed it. And never apologize for demanding honesty. It's the foundation of real power. You don't expose betrayal by shouting. You expose it by seeing clearly, walking away, and rebuilding stronger than before. Because sometimes, walking away isn't weakness. It's revenge in silence. If this message hit you deep, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because the truth isn't meant to be hidden. It's meant to wake men up.